Three Tales Podcast.
Vova Safonov, expert in design management with extensive experience, former head of product design at PandaDoc and team lead at Readdle. Developed and taught design and management courses for over 500 designers, authored a guide on design management, and conducted over 200 mentorship sessions.
Hi Vova, happy Monday. So thanks for finding the time to join us this Monday. I know Mondays in 2024 can be busy because life is a mess in 2024, and I guess it's morning where you are. So thanks for finding the time on Monday morning, which is the craziest period of time. I don't know how it's in your life, but for me this is most like I'm opening emails and starting replying them. So thanks for finding the time. How is life?
Yeah, nice to meet you, Vlad. Yeah, it's not busy probably for me this morning. I just missed only my sports training. So
cool. Well, lucky you are. I think it's a big privilege for us to have a chance to to speak freely and to exchange ideas. And I know that you've been in many shoes and you tried very different type of the projects and companies and businesses. And I think such stories, they inspire people on very different levels. Those who are looking, how to get things started, or someone who is just looking for some source of inspiration or some practical advices. And I'm aware that you lead teams, multiple teams, you lead different teams, and I wonder, as a person with such experience that you have, so I wonder, what's leadership for you?
Well, probably leadership for me is mainly about making the results, and that's kind of explains everything and consists out of every part of the leader role, probably. Sometimes it gets to kind of achieving goals, and that's where the problem begin to happen, when you have shitty goals, you have shitty results, probably. So I think the leader main job and kind of thing that you need to spend a lot of time and efforts for is kind of understanding if the goals are right, how to focus properly, because manager ideally should be a lazy person, so they could start improve the processes, improve the workflow, everything, explain the goals, and people would do it themselves. So this way the focus means the most, probably. Doing the right thing is the biggest problem what I see right now with doing anything.
You've worked with big brands like Readdle. I'm a big fan using documents, no affiliate program, just just a user who loves the product and proud that it was built by Ukrainian engineers. You've been part of NetPeak, PandaDoc, all these are reputable names, and every time, I guess, when you join a new team, a new organization, you should establish bridges between other leaders. And I wonder, what do you think makes leaders cooperate between each other? And as for the goals that you said that should be set up, are those always data-driven goals? Or, this may be just visionary goals, we want buttonless phone, fuck it. Or, we measured everything, we see, okay, people have an average from 9 to 2 to 10 fingers. Maybe if we, remove buttons, it will be better. So can we touch base these two topics, how leaders build bridges and, our goals always should be data-driven?
Well, talking about the making bridges, what helps me the most is meetings and one-to-one meetings, especially, and talking to people with the most, because if you have reports, 5 to 10 and even more, then you need to spend a lot of time talking with them, supporting them, explaining what they're trying to achieve, giving them context, especially if it's creative field we work, If it's a factory, then probably you can give processes and just give people to do some stuff. But in our field, you need to support mainly the team and give everything like you have in your head, so they could just do their work properly, And in this case, talking about the driven part, that's actually my favorite topic, one of my favorite topics. I think that there is 4 pillars you can choose for be driven with something. That's data, of course, which is hyped kind of for now. It's users and kind of what they're saying and interviews and stuff. That's frameworks, and it can be Scrum, Agile, I don't know what else. Like you can choose anything. Sprints, Google Sprints. There is tons of fancy names, and just tools can be also connected to this part. Like we just want to use Jira, and that will help us to do everything. And the last but not least is vision, which you mentioned also. And that's probably the tools you need to use all of them at once and be not driven from my perspective, but informed, because like it still should be a common sense in that. So you combine it depending on different, parts of the evolution of your company, of your project. Like when it's kind of a startup and it's super small, the vision, what drives it, like founder created a vision, and like if it's quite deliberate, I don't know, like it helps the team to move on. When it's an old company, it's not enough to have a vision there. You need to understand like what the user base you have, and data helps you here, and frameworks help you to align the big team, and that's probably the point where a lot of people just choose something, one part of it, and they are good with it. And that's where the problem comes also when you transfer the ownership. You just kind of do shit, and then you say, I was data driven. I used data showed me something. I just did it. So that's data. That's not me. Same with the user driven stuff. Like users told me they will be able to pay, I don't know, $50 for my shit. And they kind of started to pay it. Or vision, founder came and he said something, and everybody is like, whatever, I don't care. Like founder said, I'm just doing it. I don't know. Probably he knows what he's doing. I'm just getting paid, so whatever. Frameworks, the same stuff. You got on LinkedIn and you read about all these fancy frameworks, and you just start to use them without understanding like what the problem you have, or why are you trying to use it, what are you trying to fix with it.
Commenting on the previous question, like as for the one-to-one meetings to set up bridges, like can you suggest the healthy number of one-to-one meetings per week or per month or overall?
Well, I see it, the handle in the car, like this, the speed handle, where you can choose the right cadence. And that depends highly on the person which you have a meeting with, and the kind of your collaboration. I mean, if it's developers meeting, from what I see, it's usually should be something more formal, because sometimes, like most of the kind of true developers, they are not very social guys, and you need to have some schedule, some agenda, and you can kind of use it as a framework to ramp up the conversation. And for kind of designers, for me, it works like an hour a week works for me the best, Like why 1 hour? Because half an hour is usually you can just discuss the work stuff and kind of just get to this close communication. And the second half, we usually start to talk like real shit, like what's going on, what happens to me, like what I feel, what I think about all the situation. And that's why an hour usually works for me the best. Like sometimes people like less communicative, so you can switch it to bi-weekly, but I would recommend with reports to have 1 hour. That's because like in half an hour, there is not enough time to talk quite deep enough. With leaders from your kind of horizontally, your peers, leaders, that depends. Probably I had, I don't know, half an hour a week, half an hour in 2 weeks. Usually leaders are more expressive, so half an hour should be fine for that. And they also don't have a lot of time as me, of course, and that's why half an hour works best. It can be also 1 month if it makes sense and you have time to kind of discuss everything, and that also deeply depends on how well your async communication built, like how freely you feel to talk in the chats and stuff. Like, so you need to keep this human-to-human connection, but like in this way you will be able to communicate effectively asynchronously, because like all these messages, I don't know, chats and stuff can be understood differently with different context. It could be understood like toxic stuff, but you didn't mean anything toxic. That's only why you lost the connection. That's why everything went kind of bad.
Interesting. It's just, I measure a lot of things, and I automatically measured my time in Google Calendar. And at some point there was like a month where I spent like more time with like my marketing team and like marketing managers than, I spent with my wife. And it was like, wow, like seems like, we're talking too much of marketing, but I guess no one can underestimate marketing. You worked with different size of businesses, with unicorns like PandaDoc, with smaller startups, and in different organizations, I guess different sorts of leading is required, and specifically in product evolution. So, like, have you noticed any, like, very polar approaches in doing something in like large companies, corporates versus in startups in terms of like product design or like leading people?
Yeah, definitely. There is an interesting part when startups, they want the cool processes of fancy enterprise, and enterprise want the chaos of the startup, because startup probably can create stuff and they just do things, like in a month you can do a lot of things. And in enterprise you have all the fancy processes and everything works fine, but you forgot how to make innovations. You have a lot of stakeholders, you need to satisfy them all, and that's interesting stuff. And when I have a lot of mentorship, like a big mentorship practice with design managers, and like probably most bigger part of them comes with something like, I want better processes. And I like asking them, but why? Why do you need processes? If it works, like, what do you mean by processes? I don't know, like something that big company, they have those fancy processes. It will fix all my problems, but that could be probably added to the part with the frameworks and stuff when you try to kind of move your responsibility to something like processes. Like, I should have good processes. Shitty processes, I don't give results.
Yeah, rely too much on a system of actions so that it can guarantee the success instead of like you experimenting. Do you feel that the market is way different from what it used to be like in 2018 versus 2020, both in IT and overall? Because I think that, do you feel there is like a different approach in tackling talent market? Like, is it easy to find a job now?
You mean the perspective of the company or of the individual person?
I think from the individual person, because most of the people, they are exploring now, the world, trying to understand, if things are work the way that used to work, if talent is still in demand or something else. Like, so yeah, from the perspective of just, a seeker of opportunity.
Well, that's complicated and probably should anyway tackle the boss parts. Like, from the standpoint of the company, they became kind of more cautious with hiring people, because like in 2018, especially when COVID started, like that comes to something like, let's double the headcount and do some project stuff. We have tons of money, so we just need to do something. And they started to hire fucking everyone, And from the standpoint of people, it became complicated because it's not enough to be an average person, previously it was like, we just need a designer, and designers like, we are the designers, hire us, and now you should kind of think about yourself. Well, probably it was relevant in any time, but for now it becomes more important, like to tackle yourself as a product, like how I work with my personal marketing, how I define myself as a product. Like, the salary can be thought about like as a subscription for you, you know. And in this case, you need to give something specific to the company, some specific skills, some unique, skills you have or like other people don't have or something like that.
What may be like the top 3 red flags or like the top 3 recommendations for like whoever may be looking for a job opportunity in the like technology business or whatever, like which resume may end up appearing in front of the hiring manager, like, you know, what things, and I'm sure that these 500 profiles, it won't even you or even the hiring manager who reviews, I guess, you know, there is some tool that glances them and there are some red flags. So can you share maybe, you know, any insights or findings on like what may be like an initial showstopper of not moving further with the exploration of the profile of the candidate, or, you know, any hints what is nice to add in the profile that will say, okay, seems like, you know, I would like to learn more about this person?
Well, probably the main problem, the system is corrupted itself, because when companies create a job description, they just copy paste someone's description and just add some shitty stuff, and you don't make this preparation work that should be done here. Like, you need to pick 3 main kind of skills you need for the person, like in 3 main tasks that will be doing, and probably 2-3 additional ones that would be nice to have, but whatever, we'll see. And usually just have a list of 15-20 from someone's description, and you're like, let's check what's going on. But that's probably for the that influences the whole process. And for the person who is applying, that's a problem to go through these 700 people, you know, because I don't know like which system picks those CVs and how the recruiter helps me to make this number less. But like my particular recruiter we worked the last time with, she sent me like 30 CVs and portfolios after the process. So somehow she cut 500-600 of people. Like, I don't know how, but I very appreciate her efforts. And after that, it takes quite a little amount of time to figure out, like, do I want to talk with this person or not? And that's usually, I don't know, the CV. I'm trying to figure out, does this person able to have the experience I need, you know, not even like it's briefly described or something, but I don't know, what was the products the person worked with, and could this experience could be relevant. For example, I was looking for the growth designers, and the growth design, and I know in general the growth part of the product management is quite kind of rare one, because for that you need to have a mature product which has a product market fit, you know, and they can work with a growth part. And designers don't understand what are we talking about. And I was trying to find the mature companies in the CVs. Then you're kind of spend, I don't know, 30 seconds checking the portfolio. And usually I'm trying to find a well-aligned, at least, you know, like everything is on the right place. There is no kind of messy stuff, text jumping or something, because I don't have time to work with inaccuracy or something like that. That's a vital part for the designer, and takes, from my experience, takes a lot of time to fix. So after that, we can talk, and then I am trying to understand what the real process and experience of the person is, because most of the people are falling to describing the process they have read in articles and kind of how the ideal process should look like. But that's really a rare occasion when you have something looking like a proper process, you know, in this case.
Like, imagine the world like in a few years later on, and or maybe like even looking into the future, do you think the future of work will look the same way as it looks now, where, you know, the person has a job offer, the person works 8 hours a day, like the person has a vacation and like career and stuff? Do you think the whole concept of work will remain the same with all the like AI and stuff and analysis of own performances? Because, you know, when I think of this, I have like sometimes like a vision or a guess that we may end up having the regular jobs, and we will be just like units with an hourly performance, and we may like, you know, work 2 hours a DJ, 2 hours a product manager, 2 hours a gardener, another time we'll just spend, playing with kids or like smoking dope. Will there be still space for a talent, creative talent, instead of just, prompting the design of products?
For the designers particularly, I think the demand and the things you need to know and skills you need to have is growing, and it becomes harder to get them, because like it's very hard to find a job right now as a junior designer, especially trainee. Like you need to be from what I think, business usually looks for the person who will solve the problem. Whatever, it's designer, developer, like you just want the person who will solve your fucking stuff, like you have, or even find this stuff to solve. So that's why, from my perspective, why the position of product manager becomes so highly demanded last years. There is a wide range of product managers. They can be driven by any stuff we mentioned before. They can have different experience from micromanaging the team, or I don't know, given the context, like whatever. There is tons of combinations. And still, you look for the person who will solve the product stuff, something with developers, something with designers, something with go-to-market, and they will tackle all these conversations. And I don't know what particularly they will do, but kind of let them fix it. And the same comes to the designers. Like you just need to, and the AI stuff, like AI stuff can create anything, and it like with the future, with time, it will be able to create even more. But I mean, like you still need to understand what to solve, and that's where most of the people fail. So from what I see, like the entrepreneurship mindset will be in high demand still, as usual. And when you don't have it at all and you just want to do the stuff that anyone told you to do, that will be a problem, and the salary will be going lower, and there will be less places to kind of work with, and the government will need to kind of give these people to do something. I don't know, probably gaming is the best part that comes to my mind, so you can just spend time in the games and have this basic income, like just paying for being a citizen. But that's not the best life probably, but
so we're talking about universal like income that Mr. Musk is so pitching the whole thing, and yeah. Like mindset is something that is very tricky, and for me it is yet not clear how this can be like developed into the entrepreneurship mindset of the personality. Like what type of experiences create mindset? Is it something that can be like gained as a skill, like entrepreneurship? Is it a soft skill, a hard skill, or just like doom because you keep creating stuff, keep building,
or a talent?
Or a talent, yeah. Or a talent. And yeah, speaking about the talent, I know that you have your own design management course, and you mentor people. You seed this seeds of future talents. Like, for like, why do you do this? This is the very cool activity that I'm sure requires a lot of time and inner energy, as I may guess. And on the other side, people, when they come to you for your like design courses, are they looking for like leadership or mentorship or coaching? And what is the differences in your mind with these three substances?
Well, I came to this part after university. I started to talk a lot in university, got my diploma, then I got a PhD for, I don't know, some reason, and I spent 3 years lecturing in the university, and that was a good start for me. From what I see here, like it helps me to kind of think about my experience and put it in the like theory and experience together. It helps you to understand better what you are doing and kind of feeling consciously in the points of making decisions or figuring out what's going on. So Also, I like to have an impact for the products, creating interesting stuff, interesting things. And I started, when I switched to design, I started with simple courses in design, then I switched to more complex with mobile design, UX design, and then I came to the design management because that helps me as a leader to influence the product better. Like as a designer, I can't do much. Well, I can, but that depends highly on the environment. And as a leader, as a manager, I can influence people, influence designers, and create something really valuable. The same with the courses. When I just teach designers to design, that's kind of, 10, 20, 30 designers that will go to design something. And now I am teaching design managers, and they have their own teams, and they influence their products. And that's a much bigger impact for me personally. And usually they come with questions of course, the mentorship part is the big one, because like my courses, they all have the part not only of with the information and cases, but also these one-to-ones that I love, absolutely love, when we can talk their particular cases and discuss their situation and the plan, what to do with it. And the problem with design management, I see that's a lack of information. Like there is a lack of information for product management itself. I mean, the real product management, not the courses when you can become a product manager and do some work, But for design managers, it's even less. Like usually you have a lot of information of a general management, but what to do with the designers? Like what particular instruments should I learn and understand, like how to work with the designers? And business usually struggles to work with the designers because it's hard to kind of make this dialogue, like business wants earn money or save money from the design management. And design management and design part, they just want to do designs. We just need to do designs. We just need to talk to people. We have a lot of stuff to do, like who cares about this money? And that's an interesting part. And I think that's also a problem of maybe the use of the field. Like it's not so young, but still development, it usually has like 50 people developers. And what you want it or not, you need to figure out, like you have a lot of money, you have a big budget for the year, you have a P&L, you have a lot of people you need to kind of handle their own stuff. So that's kind of more about real management. And design is usually smaller, and they just don't have these problems yet, or they think they don't have these problems, with budget and thinking about the company goals.
What's your expectations on 2050? How do you think world will be better?
Hope to be alive, by the time.
Let's imagine this is a done deal. Just like stay hydrated, like drink water, and all will be alive. What about the world?
I don't know. I don't have any idea, actually. Probably we will be able to spend the time how we want to do it, and there will be much more interesting things to do, like it changed through the last 30 years, and like probably the next 30 years the entertainment part will be more interesting. There will be time to live our lives, I don't know, to retire.
Do you think product designers will still have work in 2050? Like will this be still a job and a demand?
Well, I'm not sure, like the product design is a part of it. I mean, the design itself is something where you create a vision of something that you're trying to look into the future with the design. It's faster and easier to design something than to develop something. So the main function of the design usually is to kind of forecast the future and to look into it. So probably it will still be a case, but the tools will be more complex. The things you will be able to create will be more complex. So you'll be trying to kind of designing the future for the humanity or something like that, like how the not the building or flat will look like, but the whole city or something kind of more complicated, because the challenges will be bigger. There will be more people. There will be more, shittier atmosphere probably, ecology stuff, and you will need to figure out how to work in this environment, and you will still need to design it, because innovations is like, it's become easier and faster to develop website, for example, but still the innovations, they take insane amount of time from the engineering standpoint. And there is a lot of stuff you can't handle right now, or it's too expensive to handle. For example, I'm working in an AI startup, and we have a big AI team and a lot of specialists, and I shared with them the meme where the girl mentioned that she wants to create art and someone to tackle her home stuff, and not opposite, like AI creating art and I'm kind of tackling my home stuff. And they mentioned that one of the biggest problems, that was in kind of new stuff for me, is folding clothes, that it's very complicated to create a machine that will be folding the different clothes, because there are a lot of options, a lot of different clothes and stuff like, and there is still a lot of things that we need to do at home that takes insane amount of time. And it doesn't make sense to solve them from the engineering standpoint, and that's a big field, you need to tackle.
Right. I mean, yeah, hopefully we'll see the future bright and clear, and the atmosphere hopefully will be better, and the world will still exist. Would be curious to compare it with our guesses. But Vova, I appreciate a lot your time on this Monday morning. I know you can do like many more things, but I think this discussion would bring some interesting insights for those who are exploring opportunities, and particularly in the design and product design, because for me personally, I got discovered this domain as broad as is like a year or a few years ago. Before that, it was more like, a pretty vague and not clear essence. But even now it is still unclear in some spaces, but I at least now see the horizon of unclearness. And this makes me think that about all the perspectives and the power of this skill and instrument.
Yeah, thank you for inviting me. As you could understand, I guess, that I like to talk. That's why I have all these courses, mentorship, whatever else. So yeah, thank you. That was very interesting.
Thanks.
Three Tales Podcast.